The Jeep Wrangler 4xE. It's electrified. So you can boogie woogie woogie up a mountain, over creeks, or boogie woogie woogie through a desert where you get bit by a pit viper. So you boogie woogie woogie back to camp and ask your friends if they'll suck the snake venom out. When they say no, you boogie woogie woogie to the nearest hospital for a dose of anti-venom and boogie woogie woogie your way to a full recovery. The electrified Jeep Wrangler 4xE. Learn more at Jeep.com. Jeep is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.
As a Lowe's MVPs Pro Rewards member, get reliable GE appliances for your properties and save while doing it. Right now, take advantage of bonus points rewards, where you can earn 1 bonus point on every $1 spent on the GE laundry pair. Perfect for any contractor or job, this laundry pair is affordable and built to last. Head to your local Lowe's or visit Lowe's.com to save big on GE appliances. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 3/4 through 3/19, subject to change.
Hi, folks. Welcome to another episode of Film Study. This is Ken McKusick. Tonight, we continue with our series of That One Play, and we're going to talk about a great one here. Marcus Peters, Pick-6 versus Seattle in 2019. His first game with the Ravens. Here to discuss that with me is Austin Chen. Austin, how are you doing?
I'm doing well today, Ken. How are you?
Great to have you on. I love that somebody picked this play. It definitely would have been one of the ones I picked. A couple plays from this game, and I'm sure you'll probably mention the other, but leave it for somebody else as well in terms of key plays in this game. But the Pick-6 by Peters was really something special. Set us up as you would for where the Ravens were in the 2019 season, or whatever else you want to do about the setup.
Yeah, so this season, I think we started off coming into this game with 4-2. The MVP buzz around Lamar really hadn't started yet. I think we had the first 2 games; those were nice. The big Miami game with just a blowout, but then Kansas City and the Cleveland were a little rough, and then Pittsburgh and the Cincinnati after that. Those games were pretty close wins. So coming into this, Ravens kind of good middle of the package team going against MVP candidate Russell Wilson in Seattle. So big road game, and what turned out to be a big turning point in the season.
Yeah, it looked like a really tough game coming up for the Ravens, who had not. They obviously were tested by that Chiefs game and came up short in that, and the Browns they really got blown out by. But the nice thing about weeks 5 and week 6 are the Ravens really solved 2 problems on defense during those weeks. They fixed their inside linebacker position with the acquisitions of Bynes and Fort, who were now on the field as very significant roles in a platoon system at weak side linebacker and Bynes back at that Mike spot, bailing out, frankly, the Ravens defense in an unbelievable way. That rebuild of the defense on the fly was incredible. The other component of the defense that had been changed is a little bit more under the radar, but the green dot had been held by 3 players already in 2019, actually 4. Patrick Owasso had it for a half, the first game of, wait a minute, that's 2018. It's 2019. No, I'm right. 2019. So Owasso had it briefly, did not keep it. And it went then to Eric Weddle, who had it briefly, then to Tony Jefferson. And the Ravens prefer to have a strong safety or inside linebacker have that role. And then he gave it over to Chuck Clark when he got hurt. And then Chuck Clark has had it ever since. So 1 game out of Geno Stone, I believe, in the intervening time. But those 2 problems had been solved. The cornerback problem was still there. So what did the Ravens do?
So the Ravens, they made a pretty big trade. They acquired Marcus Peters from the Rams. The Rams had just gotten Jalen Ramsey, so a little bit of a cornerback carousel there. And this was his first game as a Raven.
So, and what the Ravens gave up for Marcus Peters still kind of amazes me in a sense. They gave up a 4th round pick. They gave up Young. And was there anything else that went, or was that the entire package? Young and a 4th round pick. It seems like there might have been something else, like an exchange of a 4th for something else. Maybe I'm wrong about that. But anyway, it seemed like at the time, Ravens are getting an extremely high risk, high reward cornerback, one of the best known gamblers at the position in the NFL.
Yeah, I think it was, compensation was pretty small, like fourth round, roughly around there. And Marcus Peters, I think bit of a downswing, I guess, reputationally at that point in his career. So because it felt like we're getting a bit of a discount, or in retrospect, we ended up getting a pretty big discount there.
Yeah, that's true. I know that the one thing that's really kind of out there is what Marcus Peters' passer rating against was in his time at LA at the beginning of 2019, because it wasn't good. Yeah, the NFL passing 97.4 in the 6 games he played for LA, and that's according to PFF high here. Yeah. So obviously and then he came to the Ravens, became an All-Pro for the remainder of the year. He's kind of like Roquan Smith a little bit, honestly, in terms of the acquisition. Passer rating against him the rest of the year with Baltimore, 69.0.
Pretty good.
Pretty damn good. Definitely All-Pro kind of level.
Him and Humphrey on the same team. That was amazing.
Yeah,
still
really,
is.
It really is incredible that the Rams couldn't get more out of him. Given they had some good, they had a quality defensive backfield there too. It's surprising, but they didn't anyway. And happy birthday to us, I guess, here in Baltimore. So tell us a little bit. Set up for us the game, if you would.
Yeah, so I think at this point we were, down maybe by 3 or 7. Not too much of it going on offensively. Seattle was driving with the ball. They were at like maybe the 30-ish yard line in our territory. It's like what, first or second down? I don't remember the exact down distance, but early-ish down.
So it's in the second quarter, right?
Yeah, first half.
Like 5:12 to go in the second half. 3rd and 6 was the play at the Baltimore 34.
Yeah. So you want me to just go into the play?
Sure. Talk about it.
Sure. Yeah. So, 3rd and 6, Russell Wilson takes a snap, looks to his right, I believe. Sees what looks like a wide open receiver and just kind of lobs the ball up there. And Marcus Peters, he's doing typical Marcus Peters things, watching the quarterback the entire time. Just kind of drifts back away from the receiver during the whole play. And then right when Russell Wilson, maybe a little like a second before Russell Wilson throws the ball, he just drives right on it. Receiver's standing there and Marcus Peters just flies by him, picks up the ball and runs the whole distance of the field. Outruns Russell Wilson, who's fast on his own right back then, but I think it was just a couple steps behind, but basically all Marcus Peters completely alone down the sideline for a touchdown.
Yeah, still an outrageous play in so many ways. And one of the things that really gets me about it is just how much he baited Russell Wilson into this. Now, Russell Wilson's a good quarterback. He didn't make a lot of mistakes like this. And at that point in the season, he had an absurd touchdown to interception ratio. I need to look this up. I think
he had no picks.
Yeah, you're right. He had no picks in the first 6 games. He was 12-0 in touchdowns, interceptions. So definitely was looking. He hadn't had a passer rating under 102. His passer ratings for games to that point. I'm sorry, six games in, actually 14-0, not 12-0. So 134, 131, 102, 114, 151, and 117 had been his passer ratings. So that's pretty outstanding. And obviously Peters just played him like a fiddle. Step back, as you said. It's just I completely baited him into the throw, and then he drove right back on it like he knew what was happening. Peters has always been a guy who's impressed me since in his time with Baltimore as being able to work very well with what the defense was offering in terms of a pass rush. If he knew a blitz was coming, he knew that was a big opportunity to gamble, and he knows he doesn't have to be right all the time to gamble. He's not afraid to lose an occasional bet.
Yeah, when you have a payoff like this, even if you like giving up a first down 80% of the time, perfectly fine if the other 20% is an interception, especially for 6 points.
Yeah, a great point. And that's probably about exactly the level. I know I looked at it once for the Cincinnati game that was interception. I think in the game the way Ravens won big. And it was a similar kind of a pick. He stepped in front of an out route, and he knew it was coming. Complete gamble, because if he's wrong on that, they might throw over him and get a first down or even a touchdown. But still, in terms of the where they were on the field, and a pick-6 being the alternative, he only had to be right about 20% of the time to make it a break-even gamble. And he's he's just outstanding. He and Ed Reed have a lot of similarities.
As a Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards member, get reliable GE appliances for your properties and save while doing it. Right now, take advantage of bonus points rewards, where you can earn 1 bonus point on every $1 spent on the GE laundry pair. Perfect for any contractor or job, this laundry pair is affordable and built to last. Head to your local Lowe's or visit Lowe's.com to save big on GE appliances. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 3/4 through 3/19, subject to change.
Get ready, because Scott's is taking over daylight saving time. It's such a big event that we're calling it day-long saving time. And now it's got real savings. In fact, it's the biggest deals of the year. Audacious? Absolutely. So don't wait. Stock up early and you'll be able to save up to $20 on Scott's Triple Action and Easy Seed products today at the Home Depot and Lowe's. Offers available March 9th through 22nd at select U.S. stores while supplies last. Selection varies by location. See store for exact offers.
In that respect.
Yeah, I guess even on this play too. Like if you guess is wrong, it's not that big a deal because the receiver's still in front of him, right? It's not like he's gonna get burned for a touchdown on that play.
Probably not. I guess if he sees that he might be able to see that the ball is going to be caught in front of him before it actually happens.
Yeah, because he's looking. Cause if the quarterback doesn't throw the ball, then he knows, okay, maybe I need to back off, I guess.
Anyway, fantastic play. That game is more remembered, obviously, for the 4th and 2 run by Lamar later, I would say.
Yep.
Although they're both fantastic plays. So Peters interception gave them the lead they would never relinquish. They went up 13-10 with that and went into halftime, I believe, like that. But the 4th and 2 play from it was the 8-yard line that was spectacular in its own right, not just for the play itself, but for Lamar's hell yeah, let's go for it, Yonda's reaction, the whole that's my quarterback stuff, and the way the Ravens completely telegraphed exactly what they were doing in terms of heavy personnel and ran it anyway.
Oh yeah, I was at the game at the stadium, so I'm not sure if on the broadcast if you heard any of that kind of Lamar or John Harbaugh saying that stuff live. Mm-hmm. But I remember looking at that, and I kind of wanted them to go for it just a little bit. I wasn't quite in the full 4th down every time phase, but yeah, seeing them line up for it and be like, oh my god, they're actually gonna run the snap, and then seeing them running for the touchdown is just like a mind-blowing experience.
Yeah. Actually, the game was caught up. So I was wrong earlier about that was the lead they never relinquished. Seattle got the game tied at 13, and that was the play that put them up in 20-13. Somebody else wants that play. We'll talk about it more because there's a whole lot of other intricacies to that formation I just love and in terms of reviewing it. But talk about a little bit about what happened to the 2019 Ravens from this point on.
Yeah, so they did not lose a game for the rest of the regular season. That's a pretty big qualifier there at the end. But yeah, the rest of the regular season was just one big Lamar win after another. I think their 8th game of the season, I think the Patriots were 8-0. Mm-hmm. Ravens were either 7 or Ravens had 8 or 9 games played at that point. But there was Sunday Night Football against the New England Patriots at home, and Lamar just carved the Patriots defense up. I think we started off with I think the momentum was really set in that game by Hollywood's kind of 5-yard catch just in the middle of the field, diving for that ball. Just things worked out pretty well. So the New England game was a really memorable one. The game against SF in the rain with the Justin Tucker basically walk-off field goal. A lot of good moments that season.
Yeah, say the win at Buffalo after that Patriots game, and they really exposed the Patriots as being kind of a paper tiger in terms of that defense was already being talked about. It was about being one of the greatest of all time in the league.
Yeah, that was not true.
That was not true. Yeah. And then the next 3 weeks, basically none of the teams could get them off the field. The Bengals 49-13, the Texans 41-7, the Rams 45-6, and Lamar didn't play all of those games. But when Lamar was in there, they basically were not stopped during those weeks. So in Cincinnati, I believe they might have scored every single time. Against the Texans, they might have punted a couple times. Sam Cook was on pace for, I know, a low punt total for the whole year. And then against the Rams, they won 45-6. And I don't believe they were stopped often in there, but it was some huge percentage, 21 out of 24 touchdowns on drives they had during that period.
Yeah, that was an insane run. I think their points per drive was like over 3.
It's fifth highest of all time, 3.08. And for a team that was spending nothing cap wise on their offense, just one of the truly efficient offenses of all time relative to the cap.
Oh, yeah, I think especially with how good we were on the offensive line, that O-line plus Lamar, you didn't really need much else around it, and they just still destroyed every defense.
It was a lot of fun, that's for sure. We hope there's another season like 2019. We hope there's another season with Lamar at this point. Are you concerned?
Yeah. I am optimistic, maybe naively optimistic, but yeah, I hope even if he plays on the franchise tag, I think they can still build a good team around him. And I think all it really takes is one full healthy season of Lamar. I think that's all we really need to win a Super Bowl.
All right. You would be okay with him playing under the franchise tag then, based on what you just said? I'm not really eager to have that happen personally.
Yeah, I would prefer that. I would much prefer he sign a long-term deal. Mm-hmm. I've seen a couple kind of projections where he's on the franchise tag with the $45 million cap hit, and it's not pretty for sure. Mm-hmm. We can retain. It seems like we can retain most of our core players, but we're basically praying we don't get injured,
right?
Which is not a good place to be.
If I had rank in order what I want Lamar signed is way up here. That's high, guys. If you can see across your radio dial or across your podcast dial, down considerably, but still, what has to be the next option, I think, is a massive trade, and then pretty far below that would be Lamar playing on the tag. I think that will. It may create some of the issues may come up again at the end of this year in terms of. Lamar being careful about things and appropriately so, because his career and earnings will be on the line at the end of the year. I really don't want that situation to happen again. And the plus side of that would be Lamar didn't have that great a year last year, and if he were to play again, he could reestablish his value, and then it might be another opportunity to trade him after 2023.
Yeah, I think if we can get a trade compensation of like 3 first-round picks plus a player, which is still a large. I don't know if a team's going to bite on that with the contract they're going to have to give him. But if that were to happen, I would be okay with it. As certainly sad to see Lamar go, but would be very excited to see what we can do with all that capital.
Yeah, very sad too. But the Ravens have never had a lot of draft capital, and effectively, if they got 5,000 JJ points for Lamar, it would be effectively 4 years worth of kind of typical Ravens draft capital, 3 to 4 years worth of typical Ravens draft capital. And it's going to be very hard for them to say no to that if that kind of a package is truly offered. And it might be that the Giants offer it, say, and the Ravens end up with Daniel Jones out of the deal. It wouldn't be the greatest situation, but he could potentially be a bridge quarterback until the next guy comes along.
Yeah, I think Daniel Jones with the caliber defense we have, especially if we manage to keep Patrick Queen. I would like to trade Patrick Queen for a second. That might be a bit of a stretch too. But I think if that happens if Lamar Jackson stays, we got to keep Queen, keep that top 1 defense that has potential to be a top 1 defense. And even, Daniel Jones, or maybe even a top 10 draft quarterback, a top 10 pick. That could be enough too.
All right. Outstanding, Austin. I really appreciate you coming on and talking about that one play. A wonderful choice you made. Tell folks where they can talk football online with you.
Yeah, so my Twitter handle is AZVChen. I don't really tweet much, but I think I just started last week, so let's try to continue the discussions there.
Okay, very cool. Other folks out there, if you'd like to do one, you probably know by now because you've been listening to this, at least I hope you have been. And just DM me on Twitter. They're always open. I'm always interested in hearing one. I have not rejected anybody from doing one of these. Some people had to pick a different play because they didn't get their first choice. There is still so much of Ravens history open. I'm trying to provide a few ideas every couple of days, so you can look at my tweets for that as well. Austin, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you for having me, Ken.
And we'll talk to you next time on Film Study.
As a Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards member, get reliable GE appliances for your properties and save while doing it. Right now, take advantage of bonus points rewards, where you can earn 1 bonus point on every $1 spent on the GE laundry pair. Perfect for any contractor or job, this laundry pair is affordable and built to last. Head to your local Lowe's or visit Lowe's.com to save big on GE appliances. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Valid 3/4 through 3/19, subject to change.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift The Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Ooh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.